Hey everybody, welcome to Lex's World, and today we're going to do a review and discussion of another light brand that I've consistently had in my grow shop for quite some time, Viparspectra. I'm going to show you guys this Viparspectra light. It's the PAR700. We're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about how to maximize the potential of it, and also we're going to be giving it away at the end, so stick around. Overall, I recommend Viparspectra lights as a good beginner option for the low budget, trying it out for the first time type of grower due to their relatively high level of technology and decent reliability at a very affordable price. So let's take a look at this guy. So the PAR700 is a pretty typical light out of China and comes with the typical things that you'd expect it to come with. It comes with some ratchet hangers, that's pretty normal. Comes with some actual hangers for the light itself that go on the back. And also comes with a decent length power cord that is a 3-prong. And finally, it does have a manual that is just hilariously filled with tons and tons of grammatical errors, as you'd expect with any light out of China. The manual has other problems where I believe it misidentifies some of the features of the light. However, interestingly, the quality of the manual here does not reflect the quality of the light. People seem to like this light overall in terms of user reviews. They seem to enjoy its reliability, and it does have a decent yield overall. But yeah, this manual and some of the marketing around this light in general is very questionable. For instance, it's called the PAR700, and right in the manual here it says that it's a replacement for a 700 watt HPS, but due to its design, there is absolutely no way it replaces one of those. And I'll get into that in a minute. In the meantime, just a basic overview. You've got 3 cooling fans on the same side as the diodes that are cooling the heat sinks that are inside there. Other than that, we got the diodes on the front. Got control knobs for red, white, and blue, and then the label right up here at the top of the light. Now, as for the diodes, it contains 145 watt diodes, and mostly they're actually made by Bridgelux. The weird looking lenses you guys can see on the diodes assist in guiding the light down at a 90-degree angle straight towards the plants. As a result of this is not one of the lights that covers a surprisingly large space. But the PAR values are really concentrated below the center of the light due to these lenses. This is a PAR map for this light at 28 inches. I considered not showing this at all. I have no clue why Viparspectra publishes this, since PAR tests online of this light at 18 or 24 inches are way better, and you wouldn't want to hang it at 28 inches anyway, except possibly if trying to light a larger space full of seedlings. But in any case, this is useful to give you some idea at least of how the coverage is concentrated under the light's footprint, which is pretty extreme once again due to those lenses. This light actually has 12 bands with infrared and white light included in there, so that's a pretty robust spectrum, and if you run the light, as I will in a moment, you're going to see that there's obviously lots of blues and reds. Again, it still doesn't get to the spectrum richness of something like a chip on board, but then at its $300 US price tag, this light is currently much cheaper than half-decent COB models. Bands are where this light also has its most obvious weakness. When you have under 150 diodes and you're trying to stuff 12 bands in there, there's a limit to how many red diodes you can have. All that means is that this is not an outstanding light when it comes to flowering phase or yield, though the quality of the spectrum for the health of your plants is excellent. If you filled in this light's weak spot by combining this model with a G8 LED flowering booster from our episode a few weeks ago, or any other extra lighting that adds more red spectrum, you'd have a very effective and cheap LED package. So what HID equivalence does this light actually replace? Well, by my reckoning, it's about a 400 to 500 watt HID light. Viparspectra claims a max coverage of 5 by 4 feet at 24 inches from the canopy in this manual right here, and a core coverage of 4 by 3 feet. That's what it says in there. But in terms of real proper coverage, most of the folks who watch a channel like this would want, we're talking probably a 3 by 3, whether in veg or flowering, though during vegetative you could easily get away with a 4 by 4 space. Maybe 3.5 by 3.5 feet during flowering, but you'd be slightly disappointed with the performance at the edges of the grow space in that scenario. Okay, so now we have this light all plugged in, guys, and I wanted to show you this fairly unusual knob control system that lets you control the red, the white, and the blue spectrum separately. You can actually turn them on completely one at a time. Here's the blue. Here it is at full intensity. Here's the white turning on. And here's the red turning on. And you can control them totally individually, so like here I am turning the white off, for example. This ability to control the different parts of the light spectrum to this extent is actually pretty unusual as far as a feature goes. If you know what you're doing and you know the light spectrums needed for each stage of a plant's life, you can cut back on your electrical use a bit with these knobs during certain parts of the life cycle with minimum consequences to your plants. But for myself, I would run these knobs at full intensity at all times, just like this, but change the light height as needed. Further away during vegetative phase, like 24 inches roughly, and closer in during flowering, like around 18 inches. As for warranty, there's a 3-year manufacturer's warranty, which is good for a budget light. Since reliability feedback for this model is excellent, the relatively generous warranty time makes sense. Now let's turn this off here a moment. You can actually hear the fans going just a little bit. They are very quiet, but we'll turn it off and talk about electrical efficiency a moment. There we go. It pulls 326 watts from the wall. If you believe that the light is a 700 watt HID equivalence, then 326 watts is great. But if you consider this to be a 500 HID equivalence, as I do, then it's not that great. It's not quite as good as other LED models that I've reviewed on this show, which are more efficient than that. But with all of these points made, overall I feel that the PAR700 is a rock-solid, reliable light at a great price. It also weighs quite a bit, I should mention. You wouldn't think of it, but this thing is almost as heavy as a G8 LED. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about the giveaway now. So when I did my Grow Journal conclusion video a couple of weeks ago, I promised that if we hit 1,000 likes on that video that I would do another light giveaway within the month. And looking at it at this moment, that video has about 700 and a little bit likes. Womp womp, we didn't make it. However, I'm still going to do the light giveaway, and I'm going to assume we're going to hit 1,000 likes pretty soon, since we did get over 700 in a couple of weeks. So we'll give this away, and the draw date will be 10 days after that video hits its 1,000 likes. That'll give it a little bit more time to get to that 1,000 likes, and give a bunch of you time to enter to win this. To enter to win this light, make sure you leave a comment under this video, and your comment is going to be your entry. Doesn't matter where you're watching this, Vimeo, the WeedTube, BitChute, YouTube, it'll all count. The winner is going to have their winning comment replied to and be added to the video description of this video. And also make sure that you watch my Grow Journal conclusion video from a couple weeks ago and give it a like so it can actually get to 1,000 faster. A A link to that video down in the video description, as well as to the PAR700 for all of you who want to take a closer look at it. On that note, that's enough for me today. Be sure you subscribe and hit that like button if this was useful, and we'll see you all next time.